A barmaid? Are you taking the piss?
No, I'm not taking the piss. And she ain't a barmaid. I don't know what she is, but I've seen that barmaid before, and she ain't got purple fucking eyes.
Who fucking cares? You're now just a barmaid who ain't a barmaid. But you haven't told us why.
All this trouble we've been having. Customers and targets suddenly going off doing something wildly out of character and getting themselves nicked by the guard. People on payroll getting themselves fired for stupid shit, like taking a dump in a public fountain.
The cloaked figure thrust an accusatory finger at the unconscious barmaid, currently tied to a chair in the other room.
It's that one. All of them. Using magic or something to dress up as them and get into trouble for some reason.
You told the boss?
The figure shook their head.
The boss told me.
If you're done giving exposition to one another, our guest is rousing.
The changeling felt their consciousness return to them, but their vision did not, obscured by a heavy blindfold pulled taut around their head. They could hear the voice referring to them, echoing through the room. It must be big, like an auditorium, as the man spoke with a normal volume, but it carried through the whole chamber.
What's your name?
How many would you like?
Jokes. Well then, Jester, if you want to play games, we'll skip to the end.
The changeling only showed a cheeky grin behind the heavy blindfold. For all their intensity, these people were just like the others. False importance. Hiding behind bland guises to disguise their true, boring selves.
What will it cost to get you to do what you do for us?
The changeling's face straightened. This was new. These people wanted them to sow chaos, to steal faces, to commit crime in the name of others.
Ah, that got a reaction, didn't it? I see you, what's important to you. You don't care who you work for as long as you do the work. I like that. A passion for the craft. Where many might see an issue of disloyalty, I see opportunity. We have the resources to ensure we can keep an arrangement going till we're old and grey.
You like what I'm doing?
In a manner of speaking, you have a talent, that much is clear. It's just unfortunate that you've been using that talent to thwart our interests. You've cost us dearly. That said, were it not for your interference, we wouldn't have learned about you. And knowledge is power, and very valuable power at that. I think we could help one another, no? I'll speak plainly. You work for us, use your talents for our interests, and we make sure you never run out of what you clearly find so entertaining. And in doing so, pay off your debt to our organization. We already have someone in mind who could do with being taken down a peg or two. A little public humiliation, followed by a swift ejection from his job. Nothing you haven't done before.
The changeling liked the sound of this proposal, but felt at a disadvantage in this state, to be confronted without knowing what the person looks like. They didn't like being on this side of things. All it required was a quick adjustment, as the barmaid's face thinned out, cheeks flattened and nose pulled in a little. The blindfold fell loose, and the changeling saw before them not much more. Evidently, the blindfold was for effect. The changeling found themselves sat in the center of a dark chamber, the circular walls interrupted by a raised ring platform where a number of cloaked individuals sat in shadow, their faces obscured.
Already showing off your talents. I'm afraid, given your abilities, it would be rather dangerous for myself and my friends for you to see our faces until such time that we'd reached an agreement.
As long as you don't get boring. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't say yes.
It's been a while since someone's spoken to me like you have. Welcome to the Many, our cosy little branch of the Triumvirate here in Dokram. Sickle, show your new associate to her quarters.
There.
show your new associates to their quarters.
Another robed figure entered the chamber from behind the changeling. They felt as clawed hands fiddled with the bindings, and they came free. And the changeling was able to stand once more, turning to face this sickle. They saw little of their face, although certainly feminine. But their infernal heritage was not so easily obscured, as two twisting horns pierced out through the hood.
Come then. Seems you're to be working with us now. I'll introduce you to our little family.
I've not had a family before.
And you still don't. Not yet, anyway. You may work with us, but we don't know you. Once we know you, we'll decide if you're family, not you.
The two walked in silence out of the large chamber, down a series of corridors, Sickle making an effort not to reveal anything of herself to the changeling.
Why the barmaid get up?
I was returning to an old project of mine. It didn't work the last time, but now they're bickering like an old married couple.
The Sickle said nothing more, seemingly dissatisfied with the answer, believing the changeling to be playing games and hiding behind riddles, and the two continued on in silence once more. Soon enough, though, they arrived in a room uncomfortably stuffed with beds, leaving arguably little room for people.
Here we are. Home sweet shithole. That bed in the corner is yours. You touch any of our shit, I'll tie you to it with your entrails.
The changeling was a little taken aback by the colourful threat, but in a strange way, it did remind them a little bit of home.
I'll gather the others and we can talk over the mission. You got a name?
None that belong to me.
Well, you'll need one for the work. You'll be the scapegoat.
No more my name than any of the others, but I'll know to reply if you say it.
Ain't that all a name is?
It's so much more.